When people think of education, the first picture that usually comes to mind is a classroom filled with textbooks, blackboards, and exams. For years, students are trained to value grades, marks, and academic achievements as the ultimate measure of intelligence and success. While these things have their place, what schools often overlook is something far more crucial: emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence, or EQ, refers to the ability to understand, manage, and express emotions in healthy ways, as well as to recognize and respond to the emotions of others. This hidden wisdom plays a much larger role in shaping the direction of life than the ability to recall facts from a textbook. The truth is that while academic knowledge may help you solve mathematical equations or write essays, emotional intelligence teaches you how to navigate people, relationships, and life's unpredictable challenges. Consider how the workplace functions. In almost every job, no matter the technical skill required, you are dealing with people, colleagues, bosses, clients, and teams. A person with a high academic record but poor interpersonal skills might struggle to get along with others or fail to manage conflicts constructively. On the other hand, someone who knows how to listen, empathize, communicate clearly, and stay calm under pressure often becomes a natural leader, regardless of the grades. This is why companies increasingly look for qualities like teamwork, communication, resilience, and leadership potential when hiring or promoting. These qualities come directly from emotional intelligence. A person's career growth, financial progress, and overall satisfaction often depend less on what they know and more on how they manage themselves and others. Emotional intelligence also plays a profound role in personal happiness. A person can achieve all the academic milestones, high marks, degrees, and awards, yet still feel unfulfilled or lonely because they never learned how to connect with others or manage their own emotions. Someone with high EQ, however, knows how to build meaningful relationships, resolve misunderstandings peacefully, and find inner balance even in difficult times. For example, when anger arises, a person with emotional awareness can pause, reflect, and respond calmly instead of reacting in destructive ways. This prevents damage to relationships and creates trust and respect from others. Schools rarely teach such skills. They may discipline students when tempers flare or conflicts occur, but they don't teach how to handle emotions in a healthy, constructive way. Another reason emotional intelligence is more important than academic scores is because life is unpredictable. No matter how smart you are, setbacks are inevitable: failure in business, loss of a loved one, financial struggles, or unexpected health issues. IQ might give you the logic to plan or analyze problems, but it is EQ that gives you the resilience to endure, adapt, and rise again. Resilience is the ability to keep going when things don't go your way, and this stems from self-awareness, emotional regulation, and optimism. People with high EQ tend to see failures not as permanent defeats but as temporary challenges from which lessons can be drawn. This mindset fuels perseverance and long-term success, something grades alone cannot guarantee. Emotional intelligence also improves decision-making. Emotions often influence choices more than logic does, whether we admit it or not. Someone with high EQ is aware of how emotions cloud judgment, so they can pause, analyze, and make more balanced decisions. For example, a business leader with strong EQ won't make a risky deal just because of excitement or fear of missing out. They will weigh the facts, but also consider the emotional climate of their team and the long-term effects of the decision. Likewise, in personal life, emotional intelligence helps in choosing partners, handling family matters, or raising children with empathy rather than frustration. These are aspects of life where schools rarely prepare students, yet they determine the quality of a person's future far more than test scores. Furthermore, emotional intelligence is the foundation of leadership. True leaders are not necessarily the ones who know the most, but the ones who inspire, motivate, and guide others. People follow leaders who understand them, who can communicate a vision clearly, and who can remain steady in times of crisis. Without EQ, even the most knowledgeable individual may fail to influence or lead effectively. This is why many top executives, entrepreneurs, and changemakers often stress the importance of empathy, communication, and self-control over pure academic brilliance. They know that success is achieved with people, not against them, and emotional intelligence is the glue that holds human connections together. Emotional intelligence also influences mental health. In today's world, stress, anxiety, and burnout are common, partly because many people never learned how to process emotions in healthy ways. They suppress feelings or lash out in anger, which only worsens the problem. Emotional intelligence teaches the art of recognizing emotions as signals rather than enemies. Instead of ignoring sadness or frustration, someone with EQ can identify the source, reflect on it, and take proactive steps to address it. This leads to better coping mechanisms, improved self-care, and a more stable mind. Ironically, students may graduate with advanced degrees but struggle with anxiety because they never learned this hidden wisdom in school. On a broader level, emotional intelligence enhances social harmony. When individuals understand how to manage their emotions and respect those of others, conflicts in families, communities, and even nations can be reduced. Wars, discrimination, and violence often stem from unchecked emotions such as hatred, fear, or pride. Teaching EQ on a wide scale would promote tolerance, compassion, and cooperation. Unfortunately, schools largely ignore this dimension and continue to prioritize rote learning and exams over human understanding. Even in terms of success and wealth, EQ plays a hidden but powerful role. Studies and real-life examples consistently show that people with average IQ but high EQ often outperform those with high IQ but low EQ. They are better networkers, better at persuasion, more adaptable to change, and more capable of building trust with others. These qualities open doors to opportunities that pure academic performance cannot. Many self-made entrepreneurs, innovators, and leaders admit that their ability to connect with people, understand emotions, and remain emotionally balanced was more valuable than anything they learned in classrooms. What makes emotional intelligence particularly vital is that it can be developed at any age. Unlike IQ, which is relatively fixed, EQ grows with practice, awareness, and effort. By reflecting on emotions, practicing empathy, improving listening skills, and learning how to manage stress, anyone can strengthen their EQ. This lifelong skill becomes a constant companion, guiding individuals through the complexities of relationships, careers, and personal growth. If schools integrated emotional intelligence training into their systems, students would not only leave with academic knowledge but also with the wisdom to live fulfilling, resilient, and compassionate lives. In the end, while grades and academic scores might open a door, it is emotional intelligence that determines how far one can go. Beyond that door, it is the hidden wisdom that schools fail to teach, yet it is the most vital ingredient for a successful, happy, and meaningful life. Those who recognize this truth and work on developing their EQ gain a lasting advantage, not just in careers, but in the richness of their relationships and the peace of their inner world. Money is a subject that almost everyone in life has to deal with, yet it is one of the least discussed and least taught topics in schools. Students may spend years learning about algebra, geometry, history, or the periodic table, but rarely do they leave the classroom with the knowledge of how to budget, invest, manage debt, or grow wealth. Financial literacy is the true tool for freedom, yet it is hidden wisdom that the education system largely ignores. Without this knowledge, even highly educated people can find themselves trapped in cycles of debt, stress, and financial dependency. Understanding how money works, on the other hand, gives individuals not only financial stability but also the independence to make choices that align with their values and dreams. Financial literacy begins with the simple but powerful idea of budgeting. Knowing how to track income and expenses, set priorities, and avoid overspending is the foundation of financial control. Yet many people step into adulthood without these skills, often learning the hard way through overdraft fees, unpaid bills, or overwhelming credit card debt. A lack of budgeting creates constant anxiety, no matter how high someone's income may be, because money slips through their hands without a clear plan. In contrast, someone who understands budgeting early on feels in control of their financial life. They know exactly where their money is going, can save for emergencies, and make informed decisions about where to cut costs or where to spend. Beyond budgeting, financial literacy introduces the concept of saving and investing. Saving money is not just about setting aside cash but creating a buffer that provides security in emergencies and opportunities for growth. A financially literate person knows that money left idle loses value due to inflation, so they look for safe and effective ways to grow it. Investing in stocks, bonds, real estate, or businesses becomes the gateway to wealth building. Unfortunately, schools rarely explain how the financial system works, how compound interest can either build wealth or create crushing debt, and how to evaluate risks versus rewards. Many adults therefore fear investing, believing it to be complicated or dangerous, when in reality, with proper knowledge and patience, investing can create financial independence and generational wealth. Another key aspect of financial literacy is understanding debt. Debt itself is not always bad. In fact, it can be a useful tool if used wisely. Borrowing to invest in education, start a business, or purchase real estate can be strategic if the return on investment is greater than the cost of borrowing. However, most people end up with bad debt, such as high-interest credit cards or unnecessary loans, because they lack the wisdom to distinguish between debt that builds wealth and debt that destroys it. Without financial literacy, people fall prey to consumerism, buying items they cannot afford and paying far more in interest over time than the items are worth. A financially educated individual, on the other hand, understands interest rates, repayment strategies, and the long-term consequences of borrowing. They use debt strategically or avoid it altogether. Financial literacy also involves the psychology of money. Many people have emotional relationships with money shaped by childhood experiences, societal pressures, or fear of scarcity. Without awareness, people may overspend to gain approval, hoard money out of fear, or avoid financial planning altogether because it feels overwhelming. A strong foundation in financial literacy not only provides technical skills but also cultivates a healthier mindset toward money. It teaches that money is a tool, not an enemy or a master, and that using it wisely can create freedom rather than anxiety. One of the most powerful hidden truths about financial literacy is the concept of passive income. Most people are trained by schools to think in terms of active income, work hard, earn a salary, and depend on that paycheck for survival. But financial literacy reveals that relying solely on active income keeps people trapped in a cycle of working for money rather than letting money work for them. Passive income, through investments, rental properties, royalties, or businesses, creates streams of cash flow that continue even when one is not working. This is how financial independence and early retirement become possible. Without this knowledge, individuals spend their lives tied to jobs they dislike, afraid of losing financial stability. With it, they gain the power to design lives they truly want. Another area where financial literacy is crucial is taxes. Schools rarely explain how taxes work, yet taxes are one of the largest expenses people face in their lifetime. Financially literate individuals understand how to minimize taxes legally by taking advantage of deductions, credits, retirement accounts, and investment strategies. They plan not only for earning money but also for keeping more of what they earn. Those who lack this knowledge may find themselves frustrated, working harder each year but feeling like they never make progress because so much of their income disappears in taxes. Financial literacy also empowers people to plan for the future. Retirement may seem far away to young adults, but without early planning, many people reach old age without enough savings to live comfortably. A lack of financial education leaves them dependent on government programs, family members, or endless work. In contrast, those who learn to save and invest early understand the power of compound interest. Even small amounts invested consistently over time can grow into large sums, providing freedom and security later in life. Planning for retirement, healthcare, and unexpected emergencies becomes part of their strategy, ensuring that they are not caught unprepared by life's inevitable challenges. It is also important to recognize the link between financial literacy and freedom of choice. Money itself is not the ultimate goal, the true goal is the freedom it provides. With financial literacy, people gain the ability to choose where they live, how they work, whom they support, and how they spend their time. They are not trapped by bills or forced into jobs that conflict with their values. They can travel, pursue passions, or support causes they believe in because they have built financial security. Without financial literacy, even high earners often remain in golden cages, tied to lifestyles they cannot afford to maintain, burdened by debts and obligations. The absence of financial education in schools is not a small gap, it is a life-altering one. Many adults realize too late that they were never prepared for the realities of managing money. They may have mastered algebra or memorized historical dates, but they struggle to file taxes, plan for emergencies, or escape paycheck-to-paycheck living. This lack of preparation creates stress, broken relationships, and even health problems due to financial strain. Financial literacy, therefore, is not just about numbers, it is about well-being, security, and empowerment. At its core, financial literacy is the hidden wisdom that transforms money from a source of stress into a source of strength. It is the knowledge that allows individuals to build wealth, protect themselves from financial traps, and create lives of choice rather than constraint. While schools may not teach it, anyone can learn it through books, mentors, courses, or personal experience. Those who embrace this wisdom unlock the doors to independence and abundance. They understand that money, when managed wisely, is not about greed or excess but about creating stability, opportunity, and freedom. This is why financial literacy stands as one of the most important, yet often ignored, life skills, one that can shape not only personal futures but also entire generations. One of the greatest truths rarely taught in schools is the power of self-discovery and personal growth. From childhood, most students are placed on paths designed by society, family expectations, or rigid systems of education. They are told what success looks like, often defined by grades, degrees, and traditional careers. Yet few are encouraged to truly explore who they are, what excites them, or what unique gifts they bring to the world. Self-discovery is the process of peeling back layers of conditioning to uncover your authentic self, your strengths, passions, values, and purpose. Personal growth is the commitment to continuously improving and expanding yourself once you have that awareness. Together, These two elements create the foundation for a meaningful life, far beyond the narrow definitions of success offered in classrooms. The first aspect of self-discovery is awareness of personal strengths and weaknesses. Schools may highlight performance in specific subjects, but they rarely guide students in exploring the deeper talents or inclinations. A child who struggles in mathematics may feel like a failure in the school system, yet outside that framework, they may possess extraordinary creativity, emotional intelligence, or entrepreneurial spirit. Without opportunities for self-discovery, many people suppress the natural strengths in order to fit into standardized molds. True self-discovery allows individuals to recognize what they are naturally good at and how to use those gifts to create value for themselves and others. This awareness can become the compass for career choices, hobbies, and relationships that align with who they truly are. Self-discovery is also tied to understanding passions, the activities that ignite enthusiasm and make time disappear. Too often, people pursue paths dictated by external pressures, only to wake up years later feeling empty despite their achievements. Discovering passions requires curiosity, experimentation, and the willingness to step outside comfort zones. It may involve trying new activities, traveling, reading widely, or reflecting deeply on what brings joy. Once uncovered, passions become a powerful driving force that sustains motivation and resilience even when challenges arise. Unlike forced obligations, passions fuel energy rather than drain it, leading to a more vibrant and fulfilling life. Another layer of self-discovery lies in clarifying values. Values are the principles and beliefs that guide decisions and define what matters most. Without clarity on values, people often chase goals that leave them unsatisfied because those goals conflict with the deeper truth. For example, someone may achieve financial success in a high-paying job but feel miserable because the role clashes with their values of creativity, freedom, or service. By identifying values early on, individuals can make choices that honor who they are rather than what others expect. This alignment between values and actions creates inner peace and authenticity. Personal growth begins once self-discovery has opened the door. Growth is the commitment to expand beyond current limitations, continuously learning, and evolving into the best version of oneself. Unlike the structured progression of school curriculums, personal growth is self-directed. It may include reading, mentorship, meditation, goal setting, or exposure to diverse experiences. It requires humility to recognize that there is always more to learn and courage to face weaknesses without denial. Personal growth is not about perfection but about progress, the steady refinement of character, skills, and mindset. One of the most powerful aspects of personal growth is the development of a growth mindset. A fixed mindset assumes that abilities and intelligence are static, while a growth mindset recognizes that they can be developed through effort, practice, and learning. Schools often unintentionally reinforce fixed mindsets by rewarding only those who perform well within narrow academic measures. Personal growth flips this script, teaching that failure is not an endpoint but a stepping stone, that setbacks are opportunities to learn, and that potential is limitless when combined with persistence. This mindset shift changes the way individuals approach challenges and opens doors to opportunities they once thought impossible. Self-discovery and personal growth also enhance resilience. Life is filled with uncertainty, loss, and disappointment. Without self-knowledge, people may crumble under the weight of challenges, questioning their worth or direction. With self-discovery, individuals understand their core identity and purpose, which anchors them in turbulent times. Personal growth equips them with tools like emotional regulation, problem-solving, and adaptability, allowing them to recover quickly and even grow stronger from difficulties. Resilience becomes not just the ability to survive but the capacity to thrive despite adversity. Another dimension is the role of self-discovery in relationships. When individuals understand themselves, they are better able to connect with others authentically. They no longer seek validation through conformity but attract people who resonate with their true selves. Personal growth enhances this by teaching communication skills, empathy, and emotional awareness, all of which deepen connections. Healthy relationships flourish when both partners are committed to their own self-discovery and growth, creating mutual respect and support rather than dependency or conflict. Self-discovery also influences career and life direction. Many people choose professions because they seem stable or prestigious, only to realize years later that they feel trapped. Those who take the time to explore the unique strengths, passions, and values are better positioned to pursue paths that not only provide income but also fulfillment. Personal growth ensures they remain adaptable as industries change and new opportunities arise. Instead of being stuck in outdated careers or rigid definitions of success, they are empowered to reinvent themselves, follow meaningful pursuits, and contribute in ways that align with their authentic selves. Spirituality often emerges as a natural extension of self-discovery and personal growth. Whether religious or secular, individuals begin to question deeper truths about existence, purpose, and interconnectedness. Schools may provide factual knowledge, but they rarely nurture this deeper inquiry into meaning. Self-discovery fills that gap by encouraging reflection, mindfulness, and exploration of the self in relation to the larger universe. Personal growth, in this sense, becomes not just about external success but about cultivating inner peace, wisdom, and alignment with something greater than oneself. It is also important to note that self-discovery is not a one-time event but a lifelong journey. People evolve as they experience new phases of life, youth, adulthood, parenthood, aging. With each stage comes the opportunity to rediscover new aspects of the self. Personal growth ensures that this journey does not stagnate. It keeps curiosity alive, encouraging individuals to learn, adapt, and transform continuously. Those who embrace lifelong self-discovery and growth remain vibrant, open-minded, and purposeful, while those who resist may become rigid and unfulfilled. The hidden wisdom here is that no external system, whether school, family, or society, can fully define who you are. That responsibility and privilege lies within each individual. The process of self-discovery liberates people from imposed identities, while personal growth empowers them to shape their own destinies. Together, they create a life not merely lived by default but intentionally crafted with authenticity and purpose. Unlike academic knowledge, which can become outdated, the lessons of self-discovery and growth remain relevant throughout life. They are the skills that ensure happiness, resilience, and fulfillment in an unpredictable world. In the end, the power of self-discovery and personal growth is what transforms existence from survival to true living. It allows people to wake up each day with a sense of direction, to face challenges with courage, and to connect with others authentically. While schools may provide basic tools, it is this hidden wisdom, often learned outside classrooms, that shapes the quality of a life well lived. Those who embark on the journey of knowing themselves and committing to growth discover that success is not defined by external standards but by the depth of authenticity, resilience, and joy they bring into their own lives and the lives of others. Real-world problem solving is one of the most essential skills for living a successful and fulfilling life, yet it is often neglected in formal education. Schools tend to prioritize memorization, standardized testing, and theoretical knowledge over the practical application of ideas to everyday challenges. While knowing mathematical formulas or historical dates may help in passing exams, they rarely prepare students for the complexities of adulthood, navigating relationships, managing time, handling finances, resolving conflicts, or adapting to sudden changes. Real life presents problems that are rarely neat, often uncertain, and sometimes overwhelming. The ability to approach these problems with creativity, critical thinking, and resourcefulness is what truly determines whether a person thrives or struggles. One of the major reasons real-world problem solving is so powerful is because life rarely offers clear instructions. In school, problems are carefully designed to have one correct answer, and success is measured by whether you can find it. Outside of school, however, most problems are messy and multidimensional. For instance, how do you handle losing your job unexpectedly? How do you start a business when resources are limited? How do you repair a damaged relationship with a loved one? There are no straightforward formulas for these challenges, and success depends on the ability to think independently, weigh multiple factors, and make decisions under uncertainty. Real-world problem solving is less about finding the right answer and more about developing effective solutions that work in practice. A key part of problem solving is critical thinking, the ability to analyze situations objectively, question assumptions, and identify underlying causes. Schools often encourage rote learning, where students are rewarded for repeating information rather than questioning it. In real life, blindly accepting things at face value can lead to poor decisions. For example, if a person is in debt, the surface-level solution might seem to be, earn more money. But a deeper analysis might reveal that the real problem lies in poor spending habits, lack of budgeting, or emotional triggers that cause impulsive purchases. By digging beneath the surface, real-world problem solvers address root causes rather than temporary symptoms, which leads to long-lasting solutions. Creativity is another essential element of real-world problem solving. Unlike school problems, where creativity is often restricted by rules and rubrics, life rewards those who can think outside the box. Entrepreneurs are a clear example of this. They spot opportunities where others see obstacles and create solutions that improve lives while building businesses. Creativity allows individuals to adapt when conventional methods fail, to design innovative strategies, and to stay flexible in a constantly changing world. Whether it's finding a new way to generate income, negotiating a compromise in a difficult relationship, or building a career from unconventional skills, creativity often makes the difference between success and failure. Problem solving also requires resilience and adaptability. In schools, failure is usually punished. Students are made to feel that mistakes reflect inadequacy. But in reality, failure is one of the most powerful teachers. Every successful entrepreneur, artist, scientist, or leader has failed numerous times before achieving breakthroughs. The ability to view failure as feedback rather than defeat is central to real-world problem solving. Adaptability, the willingness to change direction, learn new skills, and adjust strategies, is equally vital. Life is unpredictable, and those who cling rigidly to one way of doing things often find themselves left behind. Those who can adapt, however, turn obstacles into opportunities and keep moving forward despite setbacks. Collaboration is another often overlooked but critical aspect of solving real-world problems. In schools, students are usually graded on individual performance, sometimes even discouraged from working together because it is considered cheating. In the real world, however, collaboration is essential. Very few significant problems can be solved alone. Teams that bring together diverse perspectives, skills, and experiences tend to generate stronger solutions. For example, solving climate change, improving healthcare, or even launching a small business requires collective effort and shared wisdom. Collaboration also teaches compromise, negotiation, and the ability to listen, skills far more valuable than simply memorizing facts. One of the most practical applications of real-world problem solving is in financial decision-making. As mentioned earlier, schools rarely teach financial literacy. This gap forces individuals to figure out how to budget, invest, and manage debt largely through trial and error. Problem-solving skills empower individuals to navigate these challenges, figuring out how to save for emergencies, pay off loans strategically, or build streams of income. Instead of feeling trapped by financial difficulties, problem solvers see challenges as puzzles to be worked through with patience and strategy. Problem solving is equally important in personal relationships. Disagreements, misunderstandings, and conflicts are unavoidable in human interactions. Without problem-solving skills, people may resort to avoidance, anger, or resentment, which only worsens the situation. Effective problem solvers, however, approach relationships with empathy, communication, and compromise. They look for win-win solutions, seek to understand rather than dominate, and prioritize long-term harmony over short-term ego. These skills are essential for building strong families, friendships, and professional networks. Another vital component of problem solving is decision-making under uncertainty. Life often requires choices without full knowledge of outcomes, choosing a career path, deciding whether to relocate, or investing in a new opportunity. Schools usually present problems with clear data and predetermined answers, but real life requires making the best possible decision with incomplete information. Skilled problem solvers weigh pros and cons, evaluate risks, and act decisively even when the future is unclear. They understand that indecision can sometimes be worse than a wrong decision because it leads to stagnation. By developing confidence in their judgment, they move forward with courage and adaptability. Technology has made problem solving even more important in modern times. Rapid changes in industries mean that old knowledge quickly becomes outdated. What matters most now is not what you already know but how quickly you can learn, unlearn, and apply new information. People who rely only on what schools taught them may struggle in this fast-changing environment. Real-world problem solvers, however, are lifelong learners who constantly adapt to new tools, systems, and knowledge. They don't fear change, they embrace it as an opportunity to innovate. One overlooked benefit of problem solving is the sense of empowerment it creates. Many people feel helpless in the face of challenges because they were never trained to think independently or strategically. Problem solving restores confidence. Each challenge successfully addressed reinforces the belief that no obstacle is insurmountable. This mindset builds momentum and creates a virtuous cycle of resilience, confidence, and growth. People who master problem solving no longer see life as something happening to them but as something they actively shape. At a broader level, societies thrive when citizens are equipped with problem-solving skills. Communities that encourage innovation, adaptability, and collective solutions progress faster than those that rely solely on rigid traditions or authority figures. Real-world problem solvers become leaders, inventors, and changemakers. They are the ones who create businesses, design technologies, heal communities, and inspire movements. Their contributions go beyond personal success, they ripple outward, improving lives on a larger scale. The hidden wisdom, then, is that while academic knowledge is useful, it is problem solving that truly equips individuals for life. Without it, knowledge remains abstract, disconnected from reality. With it, even limited knowledge can be applied creatively to overcome obstacles. Problem solving transforms challenges into opportunities, failures into lessons, and uncertainty into growth. It turns ordinary people into innovators and survivors into thrivers. In the end, real-world problem solving is about mindset as much as skill. It is about embracing challenges instead of fearing them, experimenting instead of waiting for perfect answers, and persisting instead of giving up. Schools may neglect to teach this, but anyone can develop it through practice, reflection, and openness to learning. The more we cultivate problem solving, the more equipped we become to navigate the complexities of life, and the more empowered we are to shape our futures on our own terms. This hidden wisdom is not just about surviving, it is about thriving in a world that rarely gives easy answers but always rewards those willing to create their own.